Hare Krishna. Welcome to Friday Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu class. And let us start with Mangalacharan. Is the audio okay? Okay. Thanks. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, I will share the slides and we can go through the dedication to the 6 Goswamis. So, we are reading from Śrī Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Prabhupada. English summary study by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. I will only recite these verses and you can recite it but on mute in interest of time. Tomorrow we will do lead follow. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Parao Premamritambo Nidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipuno Sadharma Samsthapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Shri Radha Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Again, I will recite the memorization verses. Tomorrow we can do lead follow. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam hari rishikesha rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate atah Shri Krishna namadi na bhaved grahyamindriyai sevonmukhe hi jivhadau swayam eva sfuratyadaha अनासक्तस्य विषयान् यथार्हम् उपयुञ्जतः निर्बन्धः कृष्ण संबंधे युक्तं वैराग्यम उच्यते. Okay, so I will go to the current position. Okay. So we completed the 64 limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti. Please remember, these are the 64 limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti. Or at least they are in the section of Vaidhi Bhakti. Please remember that. And why I'm stressing this is because tomorrow, hopefully, we will complete the whole section on Vaidhi Bhakti. So Vaidhi Bhakti will be done. That will be up to chapter 14 in Nectar of Devotion. We will be done. Then very important and very, I wouldn't want to say complex, but complex to the qualifications and the is very of Raganuga Bhakti we will start, which is very advanced qualification is needed. And we will be going through that section. So Raganuga Bhakti is covered in chapters 15 and 16 and starts from verse number 270 and goes till the end of the Sadhana Bhakti chapter, that is 309. So 40 verses are dedicated to Raganuga Bhakti. So that we will start from later. Tomorrow we will finish up to 269 verse number, which is Vaidhi Bhakti. So as these 64 limbs are part of the Vaidhi Bhakti section, though a Raganuga Bhakta also performs the limbs of Vaidhi of Bhakti, but out of his interest, out of his inherent liking, not as an injunction that he has received from the Shastra. So the last 5 limbs are very important. And today we will go a little bit deeper into the significance of the last 5 limbs. Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī is stressing quite a lot on the significance of these 5 limbs. And I also want to stress it very strongly. And you will see some important aspects of the significance of the last 5 limbs. So we will try to cover that in first half an hour or first 20 minutes, and then last 20 minutes or last half hour we will dedicate to Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī's compositions, 5 verses of Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī's compositions, very beautiful verses. Okay. One second. So first we will recap the last 5 limbs of Bhakti. So what are the last 5 limbs of Bhakti? So here we will see these 2 verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita we had discussed last week are very important, which are indirectly in the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is saying how important these 5 limbs of Bhakti are. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 22nd chapter, 128, 129. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas Shri Murtira, Shraddhaya Sevana, Sakala Sadhana Shreshtha Ei Pancha Anga. So, in the execution of our sadhana bhakti, these 5 Ei Pancha Anga are Shreshtha, are the best. Krishna Prema Janmaya Ei Panchera Alpa Sangha, with a very little Sangha or connection with these 5 Ei Panchera, Krishna Prema Janmaya, the love of Krishna arises within the heart. So that is the importance of these limbs, these 5 limbs, last 5 limbs of Bhakti. And today we will see a little more elaboration on these 5 limbs. Just another quick recap, a little bit detailed title or a detailed meaning of these 5 limbs. So this is Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana, Shri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. So it is also listed as Shraddha Visheshataha Pritihi Shri Murtira Angri Sevana. So worshipping the lotus feet, the feet of the Lord specifically, and with Shraddha, but a very advanced form of Shraddha, also known as Priti, with love. So with a lot of love. So even a Bhakta who has reached the stage of Prema Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti or Prema Bhakti, after Sadhana Bhakti, also continues to do this. So all the 5 limbs are continued to be done even by a Premi Bhakta or a Bhava Bhakta, even at the most advanced stage of Bhakti also. When he is no longer a Sadhak, once he has crossed the stage of Sadhana and gone into Bhava and Prema Bhakti levels, still they continue. And that is why the word Priti is used with a lot of love. Just like Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī, he used to worship Govinda Devji deity. Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī is not a sadhak. He is not even a Bhava Bhakta. He is a Prema Bhakta. He is the topmost, level of devotee. Then Bhagavat Shravan over here, Bhagavat Shravan, an expansion of that is Srimad Bhagavata Arthanam Aswado Rasikai Saha. So it is a repetition of what we have discussed so far, but it is so important that I want to just spend 2 minutes going over it again. So please excuse me for repeating myself from previous classes. The third one is Sadhu Sangha here. Sa Jatiya Ashaye Snigdhe Sadhu Sangha Svatovare. So I hope you remember all the meanings of this. Like-minded, taking shelter of, or taking in the company of. Snigdhe, when there is friendship or love or affection between them. Sadhu Sangha Svatovare means somewhere where you can also learn from them. So they are more advanced than you in at least some area. So there is mutual learning from each other. Then Nama Kirtana, that is Shri Nama Sankirtanam. And finally, Mathura Vas, Shri Mathura Mandale Sthitihi. So these are the 5 limbs. Okay, now, so this was up to verse number 237, just to keep track where we are in the Śrī Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. So we covered till 237 and I did a quick recap of the 5 limbs. Now we come to 238. At the ending, Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī is telling us the significance of the last 5 limbs and couple of important points to note. Again, I'm trying to, it's not like I'm, trying to beat a dead horse, as it is said, or like, trying to just endlessly repeat. There are some new things to be noted here. And plus, these are verses coming from the pen of directly Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī. So it is very important to try to see or make sure we don't miss even one word of what he has written. So, very nice verse. So I'll try to, this is an Anushtup meter. Duruha adbhut viryesmin shraddha durestu panchake yatra swalpo api sambandhaha saddhyam bhava janmane. So what is this verse saying? Duruha adbhut viryesmin. So duruha, duru means magical. See, that's the important word that I wanted to highlight. Don't think that, even if you read Harry Potter for a long time, you will get attraction to, I don't know who's the lead character of Harry Potter. Can somebody tell me? I don't know. I have never read it. My kids read it, but I am not interested in that. But it is, it's not like that. That if you read any book enough number of times, you will get attraction to the personality, to the, to the book itself, and it will create a spiritual change in your heart. But in this, there is some magic. So that is duruha, one of the, it means, literally it means magical. Inconceivable magic. We cannot understand what is going on. And I was hearing from a very senior devotee recently, and just by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam verses in Sanskrit, properly sung in proper meter, nicely sung, has a huge transformational effect on the heart. Even if you don't understand what is being sung because the language is not familiar, still it has a tremendous impact. It is, try it sometime. But for that, first you have to find a nice recitation of Bhagavatam, which is also very hard. But still, if you find it, and I have listened to some portions of it, and it is perfectly true. Adbhuta, and it is astonishing. Again, may not be the direct best translations of words. Adbhut, so duruha, magical, and adbhut, viryesmin, that is these are the two words being used to describe the power. Virya means power, or the energy or the power inside inside these 5 limbs. Shraddha durestu panchake, and not even with Shraddha. Shraddha dure. Dur means usko dur rakh do. Keep the Shraddha far away. So let the faith in these 5 limbs be far removed. Okay, you don't need even faith. Yatra swalpo api sambandha. Even if you have a swalpa, little bit connection, sambandha, with these 5 limbs, panchake. Sadhyam bhava janmani. Bhava bhakti janma. It arises within the heart. Sadhyam is an important word, without offense. So offense should not be there. Okay. So offenseless. So it can be at the abhasa stage. It does not have to be at the shuddha prema level or a bhav level, but at an abhas level, without offense at least. That is what Śrī Jiva Gosvāmī, SJG means. Śrī Jiva Gosvāmī, he clearly says Sadhyam means without an offensive mentality. Okay. When these are done, and of course, then he adds, just like all the other scenarios in the Shastra, what to speak of those who perform these 5 with Shraddha. So the emphasis is on the magical potency, the astonishing power. That is the emphasis. The emphasis is not to be far removed from Shraddha. So don't think, oh, it was said, I have to be dure, Shraddha durestu. So do it with Shraddha. So what to speak of those who perform these with Shraddha? They will certainly, Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes this actually, make very quick progress towards Bhava Bhakti. Okay. So these limbs, last 5 limbs have this power, and it's magical. That is one thing that I really wanted to emphasize. There is some magic in it. Don't try to decipher or decode the magic. It is just magical. Just like, when in 1950s or something, penicillin, it was magical drug, wonder drug, all the whatever infection is there, take a penicillin, it just goes away like that, Imagine, I don't know how else to explain, but in a material standpoint, people would die from the disease, and suddenly just one pill you pop in and you no longer die. So it's like a amrita, magical. Next verse. So now we will, from 238, we are jumping to 244. So how many verses we skipped in the middle?
5.
5. So just remember that number 5. Okay. So again, one more verse Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī has, similar sort of a meaning, but alaukika padarthanam. So these 5 limbs these are the 5 padarth. Padarth can be called as ingredients. So alaukik again is like not explainable. And that is magic. Magic is something which you cannot explain. So alaukik, or not from this world. So spiritual, or beyond this world. Alaukika padarthanam achintya shaktir idrishi bhavam tadvishayam chapi ya sahaiva prakashayet. So these magical ingredients achintya shakti idrishi, that these have such achintya, again the word is very strong, inconceivable, unimaginable shakti, power. Bhavam tad vishayam chapi. So they, and then ya sahaiva prakashayate. So we have to insert this fourth line in the middle here, that they simultaneously sahaiva prakashayate, cause the manifestation of what? Bhava and tad vishaya. Both bhava bhakti in our heart and its main vishaya. Who is the main vishaya or subject or object of bhava bhakti? Krishna. So both become manifested in our heart. So that is the inconceivable magical power of these 5 limbs. Okay, so this is referring to the 5 limbs. And you will see why these are referring to the 5 limbs, because this is verse number 244. So remember that we skipped 5 verses, and those will be the 5 compositions of Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī, one for each limb. After those compositions, he speaks or he writes this verse 244, and therefore it is referring to the 5 limbs. Though the word pancha is not there in this verse, it is definitely there in the previous verse, Shraddha Durestu Panchake. So this is referring to the 5 limbs. And Śrī Jiva Gosvami and Śrī Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur give very elaborate commentaries on this verse with many more evidences from Srimad Bhagavatam on these 5 limbs. So I didn't capture those, but you are welcome to read those commentaries and relish the evidences. All are from Srimad Bhagavatam. Next, another very important point is to not consider this as an exaggeration. This means the magical power of these 5 limbs. And the magical power is for what? Who can tell me? What is the magical power? Power means power for something, to become a billionaire, or what? What is the magical power for?
To develop Bhakti.
Yes, Medha Mataji?
For attaining prem towards Lord.
Okay. Somebody else had unmuted? Specifically, I'm asking.
To inculcate bhava bhakti and inconceivable. Oh, sorry. I think I lost my thought.
Okay. Anybody else? What is the specific result?
To become a prema bhakta.
Sorry. Manifestation of bhava bhakti and for Krishna. Manifestation of Lord Krishna.
Yeah, so again, yes, all those are, yes, you are right. There are many, to become a devotee, premi, bhakta, and all that is the right answer, but the manifestation of bhava bhakti and Krishna in the heart. Also, it was said in this previous verse, bhava janmane, and here it was said, bhavam tad vishayam chapi ya sahaiva prakashayet. So, and even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, prema, Krishna prema janmaya. So again, all of them are saying that the prema or the bhava begins in our heart. And then we have to go forward, but performing these limbs causes, and since this is in the sadhana bhakti stage, this 5 limbs are being described as part of sadhana bhakti chapter. Even at the prema bhakti level, the prema bhakta does these, but as far as their power is to be discussed within the sadhana stage, because we are in the sadhana bhakti chapter, it arises, it causes the arising, it causes the manifestation of bhava and prema in the heart. So that is the specific result of performing these 5 limbs. So if you are interested in that result, then try to perform these 5 limbs or any one of these 5 limbs with great Shraddha. That is the understanding. Okay. Now do not consider this aspect, that it can give rise to bhava and prema in the heart, as an exaggeration. So here Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī mentions a verse that Kesham chid kvachid anganam yat kshudram shruyate phalam bahirmukha pravrityaitat kintu mukhyam phalam ratihi. So we had one discussion earlier that many of these verses which talk about the limbs of bhakti, and specifically these 5 limbs also, there were materialistic results that were mentioned for performing these limbs of bhakti. So that is what is mentioned here, keshanchit kvachit. Sometimes some, keshanchit means some or few, kvachit means sometimes, angana, of the limbs. So sometimes some of these limbs were attributed to produce yat kshudram. Kshudram means low level, low quality, poor quality. We can say materialistic phalam. So poor quality phal. Materialistic phal is poor quality phal. High quality phal will be spiritual phal. So are attributed or are said that it will produce materialistic results or materialistic fruits. Bahirmukha pravrityaitat. That Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī is saying that these materialistic results are mentioned only to pravrityaitat, to engage in bhakti the materialistic people. Bahirmukha. Bahirmukha means the outward facing or facing away from Krishna. So to attract those people or to cause those people to somehow or the other, okay, chalo, I'll become a millionaire if I do this. Let me do the act of bhakti. So at least they're engaging in the act of bhakti. That is the sort of like it is like a, what you call carrot and stick, or whatever you can call it, like some kind of a false bait. Yeah, that's the right word, bait. Kintu mukhyam phalam ratihi. But the main phal, or the mukhya, the primary, the actual fruit is rati. Rati is another name for bhava. So what he's trying to say is, don't club this bhava bhakti as also a false promise, as a bait. That is the point being mentioned here. This is not a bait. He's differentiating this result of bhava or rati, or the arising of bhava in the heart as a real result, from saying, yeah, I have told you all those things in the past, but don't think this is just a continuation of that same false promise or a bait. It is not. So that is the point being mentioned. So the material promises may have been an exaggeration, but the promise of bhava bhakti, or the promise of arising of bhava bhakti, is not. That is the essence of this verse. And sadhan bhakti, especially these last 5 limbs, so I'm summarizing some of the points from the commentaries, certainly leads to bhava bhakti. It will lead to bhava bhakti. Do not doubt this. So one should continue to perform these limbs of bhakti with utmost sincerity. And Śrī Jiva Gosvami provides many evidences from Srimad Bhagavatam. I have listed them here. And also he says that only sadhana bhakti produces bhava bhakti. Karma yoga and other processes cannot produce bhava bhakti. So if you are interested, if one is interested in going to that advanced level of bhava in the heart, love, bhava means love, or prema is just the more condensed or the more stronger version of bhava. So if one is interested in developing the love for Bhagavan, for Krishna in the heart, then sadhana bhakti, and especially these 5 limbs of sadhana bhakti, are the only way. Okay, any questions? Okay. So now we will, so remember we had a gap of 5 verses, right? From 238, we jumped to 244. So 239, 40, 41, 42, and 43. 5 verses gap. And then Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī must have, while he was writing, he must have got an inner inspiration to write his own 5 verses to very sweetly convey the ultimate significance or the beauty, or what's the right word? Yeah, very nice verses you will see, very nice verses on each of these limbs. So 1 verse for each limb and very beautiful meters. So these are the 5 verses. I have put it in a table. Śrī Murti, first one, then Bhagavatam, then Krishna Bhakta or Sadhu Sangha, then Nama Kirtan, I have used these words as they appear in the text. So it says Atha Śrī Murti, Atha Śrī Bhagavatam, Atha Krishna Bhakto, Atha Nama, and Atha Śrī Mathura Mandala. So I just copied that to be faithful to the text. And these are the meters in which the verses have been composed. So first 2 are in Mangalacharan, which are 17 syllables each. Here is the format of the long and short syllables, and the pauses are denoted by the slash. In the way, there can be many tunes for each meter. So in one of the tune, which I know, and that's the only tune I know for each type of meter, there are pauses at these points. And dash and dot denotes long and short syllables. Okay, so Mangalacharan. So there are 2 verses in Mangalacharan. So anybody knows which another verse we have studied in Mangalacharan? I know of only one.
NOI 11, Prabhuji.
NOI 11, yes, very nice. So we will sing that and we will try to compare the tune and all that. So anyway, so yeah, we can try, like it goes like Krishna Syochai Pranaya Vasati Preyasi Bhyopi Radha. So like that it goes. So similarly, these verses will also go in that similar tune. So again, you know, the tune is also the verses have a wonderful meaning. Even without the tune, the meaning is very sweet. With the tune, without the meaning is also very sweet. You get to relish the tune. And with meaning and with tune is just like, you know, icing on the cake. So you get both. So these first 2 are Mangalacharan, NOI 11. The next one on Krishna Bhakto or Sangha or Sadhu Sangha is in Shikharini, also 17 syllables. Anybody knows any composition in Shikharini? Famous one. No? So Jagannath Ashtakam, if you have heard, that is in Shikharini. So for example, Jagannath Ashtakam goes like Kadachit Kalindi Tata Vipina Sangi Tataralo. So like that it goes. So Jagannath Ashtakam is a famous composition on using all the 8 verses Ashtakam, all the 8 are in Shikharini. Then next 2 on Nama Sankirtan and Sri Mathura Mandalam are in Malini. I don't know of any other famous or some things we have read in Malini. There are several verses in Bhagavatam, but I don't have the exact number. So Malini is, at least for me also, it was a new one. And I have heard the recitation from Hari Parshad Prabhu in Malini of some verses, some other verses. He composes his own verses and then some other verses by previous acharyas. So I kind of took the tune from there for Malini, but the breakup of the syllables is like this. So we will sing that as well. And then the meanings of each of these verses is very nice also, especially the first two ones have a very beautiful meaning. So wait and see the meaning. It's very nice. It's like almost a satirical meaning. So let us see the first one. So this is in the meter Mangalacharan. Okay, so I will sing the first line of Upadeshamrit number 11, Nectar of Instruction. Okay, it goes like Krishna Syochai Pranaya Vasati Preyasi Bhyopi Radha Smeram Bhangi Traya Parichitam Sachi Vistirna Drishtim. That's the first line of this. You could see the similarity in the tune, and the fitting of all the syllables also was fitting. So again, I'll sing this again. I'm sorry we didn't have a in-person class, but it would have been very nice to sing this together in person. So I was hoping this particular class we will be able to do in person, so that we could have sung it, at least those, then on Zoom it will not be nice anyway because of the delay and all that lag. But you can sing it, try to memorize these 5 verses and meditate on Shri Krishna. Smeram bhangi traya parichitam sachi vistirna drishtim vamshi nyasta dhara kishalaya mujjvalam chandrakena govindakhyam haritanumita Keshitirthopakanthe ma prekshisthastav yadi sakhe bandhu sange stirangaha. So you can see that meter's Mangalacharan fits perfectly. So again, I have tried to, this is my own, limited understanding of Sanskrit and reading the translation and trying to do some, my own thing. There is no word-by-word translation of Śrī Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ that is available. So for some verses, I am preparing that for my own benefit, but I have matched some colors based on my understanding. It may be wrong. Please don't beat me up. You are welcome to criticize me or correct me, but the color coding is, in general, more or less mapping the translation. So just see the meaning. It is such a beautiful meaning. So it says, so this is on Śrī Mūrtihi. It is denoting the beauty of the deity. And then it generates that love to worship the deity, that attraction to the deity. And since Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī is composing this, which deity would he pick? There is exactly one deity he would pick. Which one would that be?
Govind Dev Ji.
Yes, Shri Govinda Dev Ji, who currently resides in Jaipur. If you ever go to India, definitely go to Jaipur and take darshan of Shri Govinda Dev Ji. I forgot, I was planning to put some graphics. Now I remember, I wanted to put a picture of Shri Govinda Dev Ji, but mentally you can imagine, you can do Manasik Seva here today. Imagine there is a picture of Shri Govinda Dev Ji, okay? So, and you can see here, Govindakhyam Hari Tanumitaha. So, oh my friend, please see the meaning. Oh my friend, if you desire to enjoy with your friends and relatives, which means if you want to be, busy in your own worldly life, then do not look upon the form of the Lord called Govinda. Don't even turn your eye towards Govinda. Because if you turn your eye towards Govinda, he is so beautiful, what will happen? That you will never be able to take your eyes off him. So that is the meaning. And then he describes the beauty of Govinda. Then do not look upon the form of the Lord called Govinda, wandering near Keshi Tirtha on the bank of the Yamuna river. Keshi Tirthopakanthe. With a slight smile on his lips, Smeram Bhangi. posed in his threefold bending posture, Traya Parichitam. Eyes glancing everywhere in a crooked fashion, like a side glance. Flute placed, Vamshi, on his red lower lip like a tender bud, Vamshi Nyasta Dhara Kishalaya, and shining gloriously with a peacock feather, Ujjvalam Chandrakina. So this is the beauty of Shri Govinda. And if you look towards him, you will forget your relatives and friends and everyone. So if you don't want to forget your relatives and friends, don't look at Govinda. He is warning. So this is like a verse which is glorifying Govinda, but in a negative sense that, so this is a technique of poetry. So that is the first verse by Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī. Let's go to the second verse. Second verse is also very nice, again, in the similar way, like a satire. So, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, this is, goes like this. Shankhe, again, same meter, Mandakranta. Shankhe Nita Sapadi Dashama Skandha Padyavalīnām Varna Karna Dhvani Pathikata Manupuryad Bhavabdhihi Hamho Dimbha Paramashubhadan Hanta Dharmartha Kaman Yadgarhanta Sukhamaya Mami Mokshamapyakshipanti. So this is also, as you can see, it fitted the meter. And the meaning is also very beautiful. Oh, idiots. And that is Hamho Dimbha. So now today you learned a Sanskrit curse word, If you want to call somebody, oh, idiot, you can say Hamho Dimbha. And then you can say Rupa Goswami said this. Okay. How unfortunate you are. I think you must have been hearing one by one the syllables of the verses of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. You must definitely be secretly studying 10th canto, Dashama Skandha Padyavalīnām, because your ears are now denouncing the most auspicious goals of Dharma, Artha and Kama, Parama Shubhadan, which are like Parama Shubhada. Hanta, your Hanta means you are denouncing them, you are killing them. Dharma, Artha, Kaman. And even decrying the fourth goal of moksha, which is the most blissful. Yad Garahantaha Sukhamaya Mami Mokshamapyakshipanti. You are denouncing that moksha, which is such a nice thing. For what? Why are you denouncing moksha? Because you have read this thing called as 10th canto of Bhagavatam. And now your intelligence has been lost by reading 10th canto, and you are denouncing Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So again, this is in the same way, a sort of a satire on the four Purusharthas, because obviously Bhagavatam is transcendental. It is so much superior to these Purusharthas, but he's saying if you don't want to denounce these Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, don't read Bhagavatam. Especially don't read 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Otherwise, you will lose the taste for Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So again, in the similar theme as the previous verse. Okay, next one. So now these two I liked very much. There was like very strong satire in these. The third one has little bit less sort of this one. It's more straightforward. But again, it's also a very important point is coming up here based on some of the commentaries that I have read on this verse. Now this is in meter Shikharini, and just like it's also 17 syllables, and just like Jagannath Ashtakam. So I'll sing this verse. So Jagannath Ashtakam goes like Kadachit Kalindi. So then there is a pause. Tatavipina sangi. Pause. Tataralo mudabhiri nari. Vadana kamala swadhamadhupaha. So like that it goes. In the same way. Drigambho bhirdhautaha pulakapatali manditatanuhu skhalanantaha phullo dadadhita dadhadati prithum ve pathumapi trishokaksham yavan mama sapurushah kopyupayayo na jate kim tavan matiriha grihena bhiramate. So like that it goes. Okay. So it says that ever since I saw a certain person, so this somebody is saying this, and the person that he has seen is a pure devotee of the Lord. So see what happens when somebody just sees a pure devotee. Okay, that is like the smallest or the slightest association that one gets of a pure devotee is to just see a pure devotee. Okay, so then what happens to this person? So first, some of the characteristics of a pure devotee are described. So ever since I saw a certain person, and he happens to be a pure devotee, whose body was washed with his own tears. Again, these are not tears of sadness or misery. These are the tears in prema of Bhagavan, whose hairs were standing on end, and who stumbled around with a joyous heart while quivering to the extreme. He was shaking. So ever since I saw this person, then it says, my mind has for some reason become so attracted to the form of Krishna. Now this portion is not, now there is some, I couldn't exactly like do a full analysis of the words, but based on some commentaries and translations I read, this is not in the Sanskrit verse, or there is no words in the Sanskrit which point to Krishna. So what is being said? And then it says, I have no attachment to my family anymore. So na jate kim tavan matir iha grine na abhiramate. So abhirama means to have attachment. Na abhiramate means I have no attachment to my griha or my family, my home, and so on. Basically to my worldly attachments, they have all disappeared. So what is happening here is that this person has simply seen a pure devotee. He does not even know that that person is a devotee of Krishna. But just by seeing a pure devotee, because that person is a devotee, the devotee is a devotee of Krishna, but this person who has seen does not know that. And still, he has become detached from all worldly things. That's the magical power. That's the magic. Okay? Without knowing all the details that, oh, this person is a devotee of Krishna and Krishna is so great and he is such a pure devotee and here are the things that he has done in his life and blah, 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 blah. And therefore, I have lost attachment to my worldly affairs. That's not the point. Simply by seeing a pure devotee, some magic occurs in his heart and he has lost all attachment to worldly affairs. So that is the magic of these 5 limbs. So that is the point being brought out. Okay, last 2 verses, and this one is, the next one is Nama Sankirtan. And this is referring to Narad Muni. It's more or less straightforward. So this is in meter Malini. Malini has 15 syllables. Previous 3 were all 17 syllables. 2 of them were in Mandakranta, 1 was in Shikharini. Both are 17. There is another famous meter called Prithvi in the 17 category. In 15, Malini is the famous meter. So this is 15 syllables. So let me try to sing it. Yadavadhi mama shita Vainike nanugita Shruti Patha Magha Shatror Nama Gatha Prayata Anavakalita Purvam Hanta Kamapyavastham Tadavadhi Dadhadantar Manasam Shamyativa. So you can see how, I mean, at least I'm not a good singer, I'm a very bad singer, but just, everybody is a good bathroom singer, So, in the bathroom, there's no judge. You are the only singer, you are the only audience. But there is so much relishment in trying to sing these in the meter, even by somebody who is not trained in singing or has a very, very poor singing capability like myself. Still, my point is, even if you are like me, the worst singer, you are still the best bathroom singer for yourself, because in bathroom, you are the only audience. So for you as the audience, don't worry. Try to sing it and you will relish it, and try to make these verses like, part of your bhakti. Sing these verses every day in your own tune. Somebody else may say it is bad or not so good. For you, it is the best. Okay. So try to do that, and you will relish the verses and understand the meaning also. And then, just relish these verses. This is just, I like it very much. So hopefully I mean, I'm just sharing with you that possibility exists. Okay, so there was this verse. So the translation is straightforward. I mean, I have it in my notes, but I didn't do that sort of color coding here. Sometime later, I will do a word by word or more detailed translation. I have done it in my notebook. I can share it with you on WhatsApp group. So the translation is, ever since I heard Narada singing the holy names of Krishna, which pacify the ears, my heart has become completely blissful, fixed in an unprecedented state of prema. So there are two things coming out here, very important. So even though this verse is about Nama Kirtan, okay, Nama Sankirtan, but what is the effect on the devotee? He is hearing, he is not the one singing in this particular example. Who is singing? Narad Muni is singing. So Nama Sankirtana also includes Nama Shravan. So if you cannot sing, or if you are not able to sing, or we can say that, somebody who is, what you say, dumb. Dumb means like gunga, cannot speak. So is he not eligible to do this limb of bhakti? No, he can do Shravan. The most important thing is to do it with a pure heart. And that is, Narad Muni is signifying that. He is the purest devotee, premaika nishthas tatha, as per the 10th verse of Nectar of Instruction. He is a very premi bhakta with, topmost premi bhakta from his mouth. So you should try to hear from the pure devotees. That's first thing, not from Jagjit Singh or, many people play these things, by listen to Kirtan by Srila Prabhupada, Sri Aindra Prabhu. I mean, both are very good singers, but I'm saying the purity is more important than the tune. Jagjit Singh, maybe, I'm not saying Jagjit Singh is not a devotee. I have no idea. Maybe he's a great devotee. So I'm just taking an example. Let us say, for the sake of this discussion, he's not a devotee. Let us say. The tune is less or not important. We must do Nam Shravan from a pure devotee. Narad Muni is also a great singer, but it is not his singing that is making that name so transformative. Like it is said, my heart has become completely blissful, fixed in an unprecedented state of prema. That happens when we hear from pure devotee. So that is the point being made. Try to hear from pure devotees. Okay. And when you are doing kirtan, do it with as much purity, as much shraddha as possible. So those are the 2 points to be noted from here. Last one, Shri Mathura Mandalam. So again, this is in Malini, same meter. So I will try to sing it. Tata bhuvi krita kantihi Shyamalayastatinya Sputita navakadamba Lambikujadvirepa Naravadhi madhurimna Manditeyan katham me Manasi kamapi bhavam Kanana shristanoti. So like this, Malini meter, and the translation is the splendor of Mathura's forest, made beautiful by being situated on the bank of Yamuna, where buzzing bees take shelter of newly blossoming Kadamba trees, ornamented with unlimited sweetness, produces extraordinary state of bhava in my mind. So, the residing in Mathura produces the state of bhava. It arises bhava in the heart or in the mind. So that is the essence. Now, when we go to Raganuga Bhakti section, there also it is said one should go to Mathura Mandal and perform Raganuga Bhakti. So in the Raganuga Bhakti section, but there is a disclaimer, not a disclaimer, a meaning given there. I will leave it at that what if one cannot live in Mathura Mandal? Then what to do? And Śrī Jiva Gosvami has given a very nice understanding of what is the meaning of living in Mathura Mandal in the Raganuga section, which we will cover at that time. Okay, so it is 6:30 or about to be 6:30. We will end here because we said today Friday class is short, and for next few weeks we will continue till we finish Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. Any questions? There is something in the chat. Adi Shankara also says Mood Mate in Bhaj Govindam, asking people to worship Govinda. Yes, very nice. Bhaj Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mood Mate. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
One small request. If you could equate this one with Nectar of Devotion, it will be easy for us to go through.
Yeah, I think you joined late. So this what we discussed today is chapter 13, 1-3.
Thank you. I have the same thing. Thank you, Prabhuji.
And I will be sharing a document which has been created by a few devotees, mainly Vidagdh Madhav Prabhu, which has a full mapping of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu verses and Nectar of Devotion book. So which verses of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu correspond to which chapter, paragraph, at a paragraph level of Nectar of Devotion. So that's going to be very helpful. I will share it shortly. I am making just some minor polish, some final polish to it. So within a week, I will share. That should be helpful. But for your homework and exam and everything, Nectar of Devotion should be enough. Okay. So what we are doing in the class is way more detailed version of Nectar of Devotion. So if you are at all concerned about, I know many of you are doing it for understanding the topic, but if you are at all concerned about homework and all, just Nectar of Devotion will be enough, but that document will be very helpful. All right, so we have covered till chapter 13 today. Tomorrow we will complete chapter 14, which will be verse number 246 to 269. That's my goal. Today we covered till 245. Okay, thank you so much. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.